there's something you guys should know about doing a podcast with Gary. He is going to lord over you the idea that he was in Queens. Don't forget. Please don't forget.
From Brooklyn. Castro's from Brooklyn.
I knew this fucker hater was gonna fucking say something.
There it is.
We're there. All right. Hello and welcome to this two-part hip-hop crossover podcast event where Cabbages and call-out culture collide. So today, on the Cabbages side of the podcast divide, we are talking about the 1998 movie Belly, while on the call-out culture side, we'll be doing a deep dive on the Belly soundtrack. Does that make sense? So when you finish listening to this one, you ready? Got me ready. When you finish listening to this one, go over and listen to Call Out Culture's episode. It's really simple. Anyway, here with us right now to talk about this capital F film, we've got Call Out Culture's own incredible co-hosts, Curly Castro, Zilla Rocca, and Alaska, all of whom are incredible rappers in their own right and have been prior guests on our show, so they know what's up.
Yeah.
Hello, gentlemen, and welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us. Very excited to do the Belly cast.
That's
disgusting, Alaska.
This film has been in my life for a long time, and it's one that I have always wanted to have a discussion like this about on this show. And I feel like it benefits from a group of people, especially those who were around when it came out, as opposed to, sometimes we have people on who are younger than this movie, for example, and that's they don't necessarily understand what they're dealing with. So I feel like we have the right group of people generationally to speak to this, and I look forward to hearing all of your experience with this. I want to start with Alaska for a sec, because this is the first time you ever watched Belly.
It was. I watched it for the first time this week.
That is fucking insane and incredibly insane and insanely incredible.
Insane in the membrane.
He's out of control.
The very first time
he
this
is
week.
Out of control, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow.
How long have you been? How long have you been a rapper?
Wait, stop, because this has to stop. This is a stop. This is blasphemous. Alaska, why the hell did you skip this movie? These are the best hip hop stars of the time, just out of abject curiosity. You didn't skip Boys in the Hood. You didn't skip Menace to Society. This is a continuation. This is the second phase. So instead of Cube, we get Nas and DMX. Mind you, no acting whatsoever.
So
but
this was not when Nas was the biggest rapper in the world.
Okay,
this was when Nas was the fucking secondary versus to Horse.
But this is when X was the biggest rapper.
It was X. You're right. It was when X was the biggest rapper.
Really
but
no excuse.
And we had no idea.
Like
we didn't
trash. It looked like trash. So I was like, I'm not fucking paying to see this. And then time passed, and I was like, I never watched it. It's one of those things. It's like, for the longest time, I never went to Shake Shack, and it became a source of pride for a while. Like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm never going to Shake Shack. And I was right, because I eventually did go to Shake Shack, and Shake Shack was buns.
I've never seen The Godfathers, any of them. That's the only way I can relate. I've never seen 1 second of any Godfather. 1, 2.
1 second? You've seen 1 second?
No.
Okay.
Jeff,
all right.
Look,
listen, I know I don't want to be.
I'm just saying clip watching.
That doesn't count. I hear you.
We're in the 2020s. Clip watching, you can't count that, because I thought I saw. There was a series I thought I saw. I was saying, I seen on the clips. And then I watched it. I was like, I don't know this thing at all.
So you're basically comparing not seeing a filet mignon dinner to
I'm comparing. I'm telling you about a cultural phenomenon that everybody has seen in some way, shape, or form. And this one bleeds into the hip hop realm too. So this is like the hip hop culture phenomenon. This is not a film culture. I'm not saying that.
Right.
But this, Alaska, this is my point, this was our shot, because this was hype, making our movie without what we didn't know, without some big production company interfering. We thought this was going to be a Hype Williams video as film. Period. That was something I didn't need in my life at any point. And that there was a grand expectation about that. That was a big moment that they thought either Hype would, perform. I mean, also,
Hype has not made another movie since. So that's all I'm going to say about that.
But Hype was controlling
we know how this came out.
But Hype was dictating visual and the aesthetics of hip hop at that time. It was through Hype's lens, not just the fisheye.
And you got
I'm just saying
lens.
There was a lot of videos and a lot of ways that we saw rappers through the way Hype Williams was showing them. So then when it was like, oh, he's going to make a movie. Oh, that's money in the bank. Like, how can you mess that up?
Castro, did you put the Hype Williams baby oil on the lens of your laptop?
No, the best part is when they go to Jamaica, one of those men is head to toe in sparkles. Literally. No, I'm not. It's quick. It's quick. But one man is head to toe in sparkling or human skin oil. And I didn't notice that at first.
Skin oil.
So yes, Alaska. I'll get into it because I was very disappointed myself. But I remember being so
just had no desire to see it, bro.
At this thing cracking off. I was like, come on. But just because it was ours, meaning like Ice Cube, a little older than me, he was yours. But like seeing these guys like, hey, you're going to be the leads in these movies. Oh, word. These are our guys. You know, that's what I'm saying. It's as far as like the non-actors, these are our guys.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. What's next? Human oil.
So I'm
Alaska, you fucking idiot. you bumbled this whole fucking thing. You're fucking fired.
You got Cuban Pete pissed now, bro. Come on.
Cuban Pete's furious. My name is Cuban Pete.
Jeff, why are you wearing a suit?
There's two reasons for this.
There's
One,
respect for the podcast. Duh.
Well, this is a whole new audience for us. And I want them to see us at our best.
There you go.
And the second is you said sarcastically, I guess, now that I think about it, in the email chain that we should wear something nice.
Like a
tie.
Wear
something nice.
Like
or something nice. I got a nice scotch glass for my beautiful vintage blueberry lemon.
You're not drinking scotch.
Vintage? Is it Pole? That's Alaska brand right there. He likes the
I love Polar. I quit drinking a few years back.
Just to you.
Mostly because I was busy watching Belly.
Fair. Okay, good.
I just had too much to do. I just had to like study this film.
I just noticed that I don't think I've ever seen you wear a suit and tie before.
What's the point of it?
And I guess
that's how I used to be.
I also noticed that Nas behind you is wearing a suit and tie. Something he does not do at any point in this film.
In the movie, never.
A lot of loose collars.
Yeah.
He might have had a
lot of sweater.
A lot of loose collars.
Right.
He had. I know he has some Averex on. That's for sure.
The Echo bubble.
Yeah. I want to point out a couple of things real quick because style is definitely an aspect of this. In terms of speaking to this, the costume designer for this movie was intentionally trying to use like certain brands that were.
This is the first widespread Echo placement ever.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They were like shopping at Transit on Broadway
or VIM.
Gotta get it on Steinway.
But so all right. So, but here's my question.
Yeah.
Why isn't it more like Dapper Dan in it? If we're going right, if we're going,
I think by that time Dapper Dan was out. Like Dapper Dan had cycled out. He came back.
Okay.
But by that time, like that style was old, and they weren't back on that. Like it was all like, Mecca and Nietzsche. There was a lot of Nietzsche in this.
A lot of Nietzsche. You're right.
Yeah.
Was there any walkaway in there that I missed?
Nah, there's no walkaway.
Yeah.
There was no walkaway.
It's like early 90s.
Walkaway always.
I'm surprised there wasn't any woo wear either.
There was.
I thought maybe.
There was so there was a lot.
Someone said something.
There was a lot of business compromise in here because, all right, for instance, Jay turns down certain roles, but there's a bunch of Jay songs on there and Rough Rider songs. When we get to that on the soundtrack, but you see what I'm saying? So there's some compromises made where if you're not in the movie, maybe we got a couple extra songs for you, or we'll play your songs in the movie. Things are really credited strange with the soundtrack. Soundtrack is a business thing to me, seems like.
Yeah. Well, I want to hone in on that business point for a second because that is the fundamental issue that happens in this film, is this clash between art, Hype Williams, and business. Everybody else, Magic Johnson banning
bitch ass Magic Johnson, Alaska. Did
the theaters?
Magic Johnson banned it.
Magic made a conscious decision to say we're not playing that movie in my theaters because I don't like how it portrays black people, even though there is a redemption arc in the movie. Right. So that eliminated it. And remember, Magic Johnson had a big hold on the West Coast theaters. So just opening for 3 minutes, like it's because I was in New York and I was like, okay, boom, I'm home. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like I was around. You just think everything is like that. You think they're doing it in LA. You think, I did not know that. I was talking with Z about it and I was like, I think they had like a limited soft release. And he was like, really? I was like, no, I don't think they had like a nationwide release like you would think.
Well, they had initially bigger expectations, at least Hype Williams did. But this is where the business side comes in and starts to get like complicated, is you have this issue where Artisan Entertainment, who featured prominently on this, they were the latest iteration of a home video company that had been around since 1980. And so this was like Their motivation is we want to have this as part of our home video library and sell this direct to consumer, which I think probably is where this movie made. If it made any money, it's in the direct to consumer.
It made money
there.
That's where it made. That's when I bought it. I bought it from Best Buy on DVD.
You had the DVD.
And like
who had the DVD or who had the VHS? Bootlegs, either way, it don't matter. Which one did you?
I had it on DVD. I had
it on VHS. I had a VHS.
All right, see, that's nice. Yeah. I went in
I watched it on Fandango Home.
I'm not. Yes, Alaska. Now
that's the only place I have.
No. It's on. I think it's on Plex too. But no, I'm just thinking like
this was a college dorm staple, and I didn't need to own it for a long time because the people in my life all had copies.
So what were they? Were they VHSs or DVDs?
There was a mix. Mostly, it started with VHS and then it moved to DVDs.
Mm-hmm.
Once the
DVD didn't have much to it, right? There wasn't no behind the scenes. Juice in there.
No, the menu was like, "Hey, do you want to watch the movie?"
Right,
that's it.
Yeah,
like at least
you can skip scenes, I think, and that's it.
It's like at least the Ghost Dog DVD had like the Cakes video on it. Like
it had
some other thing.
Well, Wizard never left an opportunity. Remember, he was doing CD-ROMs. Wizard never left an opportunity. As one of Wood's famous lines, Bobby Digital. The movie is the trailer. Because they did do a very extensive trailer, no movie to come. So I remember because even Mobb Deep, I remember they had like a CD-ROM once or twice.
Yeah, they did.
It was like 2 discs for Hell on Earth, I think, and it was like, so that type of thing is going on. Belly Alaska, it just seemed so shiny. It was so shiny. I was like, this is gonna be great.
But then when you watch it, it's really not shiny at all.
So all right, so the story starts rolling out.
It looks like they like.
You don't think it looked great?
No, it looked like shit. Dude.
Oh God, there's so much great cinematography. This is 98. This is 1998.
It didn't age well, dude. There's shit
first and foremost,
the scenes with the minister and that weird. The opening scene.
The opening scene is absolutely.
Yes. I think it's a top 5, top
10. Anything in Nas's home.
Right, but here's the key. Here's the key.
Not lit.
Just like what Gary said.
Ran out of lighting budget.
Not just
ran out of lighting budget.
Pete Game. Think about this, y'all. Think about this. It wasn't just lighting. It was what they were able to rent to use. Because remember, there's a front shot of Nas's house. Then they always go into the side. We going through the back of Ox's house. Like there's reasons that they weren't able to get front facing, but you got 20 minutes. That's it. Other than that, we need you to come in through the side.
But I'm not even talking about. I'm talking about inside. The inside.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So like after a while,
I mean, and I know that was like color schemes in fucking housing at that time. Like it was shit color at that time.
I think that one was deliberate.
They could have lit that shit better. Yo, Moesha lit that shit better, and she had the same color scheme in her house.
But it was somewhat deliberate because even the Sam Vincent stuff when he
DMX's spot looked really cool.
His spot reminded me of Clockwork Orange.
Yeah,
all white house. DMX like in Belly.
Yeah.
And the artist that they used became famous after that too. The black and white artist.
Yes.
Yeah.
I read something that Hype Williams said that was not DMX's house. That was still like he was still living in Yonkers.
Like a rental thing.
So this must have been a rental situation. Yeah. I mean that was the prevailing logic for a while. But I think in 2015 or something he did an interview where
they blew the lighting budget on the artwork for
there's definitely a lot of we blew the budget in 1 minute for things they tried to use later.
They're like 8 minutes in Jamaica. No more movie after that. When you leave Jamaica, ain't shit happening. You ain't getting lights.
The whole like down south shit is definitely filmed out in like Queens.
Well, yeah,
when Method Man runs out of the bar,
Alaska, it looked like Baltimore to me.
Queens.
Yeah. I swore they were in Baltimore when the time return and stuff.
That's Queens to me.
When the car chase, that looked like Baltimore to me.
Now, if only we had somebody who constantly reps Queens to tell us whether or not it was Queens.
No, but they definitely did.
That part.
We just don't have
part
that.
was not Queens. That particular part was not Queens.
It also looks like
we don't have Queens
parts
budget.
of Brooklyn out by like Brooklyn College.
Okay. Yeah.
Out in that area too.
Oh, you can see that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's classic. New Jersey Drive was damn near.
Oh yeah,
in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is it wasn't Memphis.
No. Bronx.
Or wherever the fuck they were supposed to be.
Omaha. They were supposed to be Omaha.
Omaha. It wasn't Omaha. I've been to Omaha. There's not a single building in Omaha that looks like that.
There's no bodegas? Yeah. Wait, when you walk out of the strip club, there's not 5 bodegas where Method Man
surprisingly, yeah.
Here's a question.
But there are a lot of strip clubs just on regular blocks. That is something in every city.
Residential.
Let me ask you something about Omaha. Since you've been there, does everyone eat bananas like that in Omaha?
All the time.
Here's the funny part about that. Jeff, here's the funny part about that. Tyron Turner did that same bag
I need to know.
on purpose. because he wanted to be Tommy and he was trying to kind of sabotage the shoot. So when he did that and left the stuff on his lips, he was doing that on purpose, and hype kept.
It was wildly memorable. I think it backfired on him.
I never forgot
I
that.
remember the show. Every time I watch it, I'm like, oh, right.
I'm going to drop a dime. And even though what he said, that is so. And it's funny because Tyron got a little pub for that. So even though he was trying to sabotage it, that was a nice little role. People think, oh, Tyron Turner, remember him wilding with the silk press?
Nope, he's just a jerk.
Yo,
he's just a jerk who eats bananas weird.
Honestly, Dollar General Pootie Tang was my favorite character in this entire movie.
Hands down. No way. No way.
Hands down. My favorite character.
The favorite?
Not my favorite, but
over the Jamaican?
Over Louis Rankin? Oh, shit.
Well, Louis Rankin was Lennox.
I mean, come on.
Louis Rankin.
Let's get into the real. Let's get into
There's
the bones.
so much.
Wait. We have to start. We have to start proper, please.
Yes.
Can we just start with? Okay, I just have to talk about this. I was talking with Zilla about this earlier, and yes, I'm serious about the movie. But then now we can talk about like the flaws and the comedic nature of some of these things. Your down south spot gets raided. People get murked or near killed. Everything is blown up. The girl cop that you had on the force, who knows where she is? Knowledge is not. He has no bail money. And you lost your beeper all day? Nobody can contact you all day. What kind of criminal are you? Are you in the organization? You running around shopping? Tommy calling you all day. T-Boz can't find you on the worst day of your organization.
Sincere had to go to Africa because he sucked at everything.
He
sucked at everything.
Criminal.
He sucked at reading books. He sucked at being friends. He sucked at having a family. I have to ask a question in a minute about this baby that they have.
Okay. What's the baby's name? Does it start with a C or a K?
I have no clue, but I do know that the baby never grows. It's been 6 months, and the baby's the exact same size. That's not how babies work.
The time is whatever. I think they put time on I didn't keep track.
It starts February, then it goes
If you remember, they're actually going backwards because
December.
It's supposed to be 1999, but it's actually 1998.
Right.
We're in a loop.
We go to the new year, and the new
we're in a
year
Mobius
is
strip.
The 99 or is it the 2000?
2000.
It's supposed to be 99,
it starts in
but
July.
in Times Square it says 1998.
No, starts in February.
February
99.
It's a full year of time.
The movie starts in February 99
and it goes to
and
April.
ends on New Year's Eve,
on Y2K.
December of 1999.
Right.
Yeah.
Except the film comes out in 1998. That is
correct.
That is the confusion right there. It is meant to be
and
in
all
the
the
not
signage
so
in Times Square
distant
says 1998.
Future.
At the very end.
So is
but
this
by
a
the very
Y2K
end
movie?
of this movie,
It
was trying to
be.
Yeah.
Trying to be.
Because I was reading things and watching. They was like, this is going to bring in the new millennia of like rap representation. This was supposed to dictate how rap is going to look, how music's going to look. These are your stars and stuff. Alaska, I see your face, but that is what they were. And the whole.
No, I get that's what they're going for. But if
for.
that's their mission statement,
it seemed like with the
they didn't only fail at making a movie; they failed at their mission statement.
So can I ask, guy? I didn't notice this until this viewing. Why is T-Boz's character named after herself? Why is she Tion? Like, why is
I watched the behind the scenes that thing, and
it's the most one of one name ever.
People have done that, and it was funny. She was just saying, like, "Yeah, my character's name is my real name in real life, Tion."
That's weird.
And I think that was just hype. Couldn't come up. He couldn't write any character names.
Or
There's
maybe she
Keisha,
had a
but
character
here's
name,
Tion.
and
then
every
when he
time they said
hired
the
her-
character name, she didn't realize it was her. So
said
they were
he
just like,
called
"We just
her.
got to use her regular name."
So can I?
There's like
am I
3
done?
women in this whole film, and
Correct.
like there's only 2 scenes where 2 women talk to each other. They both fail the Bechdel test. Both
Wait,
instances.
no. There's
so
another
bad.
infamous female in this movie.
Vita.
When Terrell Hicks gets bailed out, and that guard. Did anybody ever pause that and look at that guard?
No. The guy?
If you have it right now, anybody has it in their screen, pull it up. I swear before Christ, right now, pull it up and look at this guard, who is a woman, obviously, because it's a woman's prison. But she has like a Dick Dastardly mustache. It really is disturbing. I'm not even making fun of it. It just looks disturbing because I remember like, is that a girl or guy? And it was this, this is before identity politics or anything like that.
Right.
It is
98.
very disturbing.
Oof.
Like she has a full.
But that character has no lines. Though.
No, she.
Right. It's just a slow mo shot.
She's
when
in the
Tyrone-
slow mo
Tyrone
white.
hits- Yeah.
One of the ones.
The only other woman with lines is the lady cop that is supposed to be.
Yes. Yeah.
It's supposed to be covering our Omaha people, and as
Right.
soon as shit goes down, she's gone.
She's gone.
Well, she's not
Never
the
seen her.
feds. She's not the feds.
They had to jump on
He's
them.
a regular cop.
They had a raid on them at multiple locations, so they got the jump on them.
Right.
You know.
So,
my thing with the
But she didn't know nothing.
No. My thing, what I noticed watching this movie again, and when you watch other hood classics or hip hop joints where people are not actors and they get thrown into these movies like Beanie and Paper Soldiers or State Property and all that, people that don't know what they're doing, and DMX does this, but it ties in his persona. They either read their lines real aggressive. What the fuck you looking at, man? They're like real aggressive. Or they just are like monotone and flat. So when they make that dude strip butt naked, he's like, I'm gonna get you guys back for this. You're gonna.
Here's the thing about that. Z, specifically when it came to DMX.
You're gonna pay. Whereas like even Tion's like, what the fuck is he doing here? Everyone's like either real hype or like Nas.
So the DMX thing, if you can notice, there's a lot of improv. They don't have lines. And that was done deliberately with X in mind, because if he was reading the script, Z, then it would sound like Nas with the narration. But if they just let X strip, take your clothes, if they just let him go, that gets you more to where he's, because that's and
that ties into his persona. So that works.
But that's the gem of this whole movie is X is really good at this acting shit. And
I wouldn't say he's really good. I love him.
Oh
so
no,
much.
I think
wouldn't
DMX
say
is
he's
great.
really good.
I think he's great.
We did a whole season of rapper movies, and one of the things we noticed,
he could have done Gridlock. You don't think he could have done Gridlock?
Tupac. Well, Tupac's an actual actor.
I know.
Before anything, Tupac's an actor. He's not a rapper. He's an actor.
Gridlock would be such a different movie with DMX, though.
DMX can only be up to 10.
Layers to
He
Gridlock.
can't do anything else
let me pull that back. Because there are
10.
layers. Tupac is not playing a typical.
Because this is like DMX's like first big acting thing.
Yes.
After this, we move into Romeo Must Die, Exit Wounds, and the episode that we did, as Jeff was trying to mention, Cradle to the Grave. We did an episode on
we
that.
did, and it wasn't. I wasn't actually going to bring up Cradle to the Grave. I was going to bring up the fact that another thing that happens in these movies with inexperienced actors is they're moving constantly.
Yes,
they're not on their mark. If they're talking like they're very animated, and things are moving around.
Right.
And if you're not an experienced director, you can't just be like, stop, stay where you are, talk. And then we'll worry about your movements.
You're right. That's it.
DMX in every movie he's in, DMX talks like this. He's fucking.
The worst one, Jeff, I think, is when he gets sincere and sincere comes out there. He's like, and knowledge, your man, that's your man. I love that line.
It's perfect
because that's not Nas's man, but it's just the expression of. The one that's wilding, that's yours. I give it to you all the time.
When Method Man
I've never made a mistake in my life.
No, when Method Man shows up, you're like, oh, this guy's done this before. You love babies, like where the bitch
a little bit,
the movie actually has life when Method Man shows up. And what I realized was watching this movie again was how much. To me, the movie is Nas and Hype Williams, meaning it says like story by Nas, and he's okay. Nas brings the joyless profoundness of what his style is, and then Hype just gives you the look how cool I can make things look blue. Look how cool I can make this shiny thing look. Those are interesting things by themselves. But when you have Nas being a driving factor, where he's like, yo, man, when Method Man shows up, or even, what's his name you said, the guy that played it with the banana? Who's like an actual actor who's been in Menace.
What's his name?
Tyron Turner.
Right. Like that whole sequence is like, I'm like, that's a movie. Like that whole part when they deal with each other and they're in their strip club. But the rest of it is like you said,
and everyone
DMX,
in that scene is standing perfectly still, watching the car go by.
Yes.
And it's awesome. I'm with you.
That's great. Like that's the movie. Like that 5-minute sequence is an actual film.
But the
rest is like a set piece for Hype. And then Nas to be like deep. You know what I mean?
Meth takes a center chest shot, crawls to a car. The cops miss their mark because they drive by what they're supposed to do. Does anybody notice that? They just go flying by.
Yep. And he's gone.
He's drugged. And the camera's just like, just go with meth, just go with meth, just go with meth.
And he's roofied the fuck out. And he's good. He just peels off.
And double guns. Okay, we're
How does he survive?
So
How
he's
does
wearing
he
a vest.
survive that
He's
scene?
wearing a vest, but it's just not portrayed.
Well, do we know he survived it? Because he never comes back again.
Yeah, he
right?
does.
Yes, he
At the
does.
very
Yeah.
end,
He does come
Tion
back.
kills him.
He's in the
Or no,
Chinese food store.
Keisha kills
And
him.
he beats the
Right,
shit out of
right,
Terrell
right.
Hicks.
Shit, I
When
forgot
Knowledge
about
calls
that. Yeah.
him and tells him about it. Then he
Right,
goes to
I
Terrell
totally
Hicks.
forgot
And
about
he
that.
goes to Tion. No, he goes to Tion's first.
Right.
Tion,
And then he
not
goes to
T
Terrell,
Boz.
she kills him.
Tion. I
She
want to
kills
separate
him.
that.
She gets the
Yeah.
jump on him. Which, you know what? At first, I used to think this is not real. I was like, no. Not real.
Every plan Method Man has is fucking terrible. It's
these
a
are
terrible
bad.
plan in Omaha to go after these dudes.
He's
and just
wearing
be like,
fluorescent
I'm
camouflage.
really cool.
Yes.
What's up?
Yes.
And
Like
then,
that lets you know how strategic his mind is.
and
No,
then
but
the
also,
next thing
I didn't
is
think
I'm
about
gonna
it.
just go to Sincere's house and harass his wife when he'll just be there. It's not as if he's gone anywhere. Everyone
Right.
knows where Sincere is.
Well, he's
Just
never
hang
home.
out for a minute and then wait for him to get home. Just stake out. It's called a stakeout.
Find his beeper.
And then he's like, I'm gonna break into Terrell
Fucking
Hicks's
beeper.
house, and when I confront her, I'm just gonna beat her up,
Right.
and then I'll find
Tommy.
DMX. I'll find Buns.
Yeah.
These are
strategy.
terrible plans. None of them work the way that he wants them to work, which I guess would be, I'm gonna kill these people.
But that's a failing on Knowledge's part. Knowledge, that's his bad.
That's his arm. Yeah, now that is
Right,
Knowledge's
like,
arm.
yeah.
That's what
Knowledge
he
reaches
calls.
out to Shamik and says, like, I want
But he's
you
also
to
in
do this for
jail.
me.
How can it? I mean, like, what's he supposed to do? Like, how?
No,
how are you
but
gonna
he calls on
lay out
but
a
if he-
beautiful
he
plan in
calls
jail?
on-
There's people waiting.
But it's the
for you.
person he's hiring, Jeff. That's
He
what he's
calls
saying.
on
He's
the
called.
worst soldier.
I see.
First of all,
I
Knowledge
see.
calls fucking Tommy's house when he gets
Right.
clipped.
And he's
Just
like,
wrong.
how'd you get
Every-
this
we all
number?
know that.
First of all,
Yeah.
DMX is real. I'm sorry, Buns
Calls
gets
it, not
really,
even
really
like his
mad.
regular. He calls the hideout
The hideout. And he's
Yeah,
like, how the
the
fuck did you
hideout.
get this
where
number?
they're on the landline
No,
from prison.
Knowledge calls DMX
And threatens for
twice
the
at
for the,
two
yes.
different locations.
And threatens for the bail money.
Yes.
Yes.
Which shows
And then
real
DMX or Buns is like, hey, dude, let me lay out what happened during this crime. We had to kill 2 security guards. He says the shit on the phone. He's like,
Correct.
yeah, man, we had to kill these 2 security guards so that we could rob the place of money. Money that's sitting right next to me that we're counting.
It's exactly
Anyway, man,
$40,000.
good to hear from you. I'll take care of this guy. Like, what the like, all of these dudes are fucking shitty at this.
You know what I thought
They're
about?
making Sincere look smart.
Yo,
He never looks smart.
so a couple months ago, I rewatched Casino. Just random.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Right?
Sure.
And
What
this
an idiot. You want
movie,
to talk about an idiot?
this movie is trying, because they said in the thing, like, this was our Goodfellas. This was our Casino.
They really
That's what
wanted it to be a Scorsese
Okay,
movie.
so
yeah.
here's the parallels, but here's where it goes way off the rails. So here's my notes from about it with Casino. Instead of cigarettes being smoked in every scene, it's weed. Okay.
Yeah.
Nas and DMX have new outfits in every single scene, like De Niro and Pacino have, and even Sharon Stone. Okay. There's multiple locations, like there is in all over the desert, Kansas City, all those places they go in Casino. Okay. There's no story. It's just a sequence of
tape
crazy
rolling out.
shit
Yes.
keep going, right? But the problem is that the main difference outside of like Nas obviously is nowhere near fucking De Niro as a lead, is Sharon Stone and then all of the other smaller characters in Casino are fucking great. Like Don Rickles, like the fucking hillbilly that's fucking up the count. Like the lawman,
so
the
Zeke, to your
redneck
point-
lawman. Hold on. The redneck
yeah.
lawman, right? Everyone in Casino is memorable. The guy in the deli complaining about everybody and they're writing down, no, everyone in Casino fucking rules. There are no memorable actors or characters in this movie
Belly
outside of
tried
Meth
to
and
do
Tyra.
that. Tried
Right,
to do
and it
that.
was horrible.
For instance,
It was
Black,
horrible at it.
who is Benny Blanco.
Horrible.
It's Carlito's Way.
Right.
Think about it. He's even named Black.
Right.
Seriously,
Yeah.
last
I
his
know.
name Black. He comes back at the end, but they
Thank you.
try to have Wee Baby interesting.
And he's not.
They
Right.
try to have Vita, who is interesting.
He is for a
Got
little
the
bit.
banging pink room.
Yeah.
Is bucking against Terrell Hicks. They got the color contrast thing going, but you know that just
It's
leads
like,
to
he got me when I was 11. I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
shit.
He's not even around.
Okay, can we
Every
hold
time-
together? Can we hold together?
Yes,
for just
every
one second?
time I watched this movie, and I watched it 3 times for this thing, and each time I watched it, it felt like they bumped up us learning that Buns is an
Pedophile.
absolute pedophile, piece of
Certified
shit
pedophile, correct.
and
He
they're
is a
just like
certified pedophile.
running
Certified.
over their own fucking feet to make sure we know that this guy's a piece of shit
Yes.
when we could have just watched the film.
But all
and
right, but
figured that out
here's
for
here's a
ourselves.
little.
And real quick,
here's a
and
little,
there's
wait, hold on,
narration
but
in
hold on.
like Casino.
Even with the,
Casino's
even
all
with the,
narrated. This is narrated. Okay.
even with the pedophilia and stuff. That's a hood staple. 16-year-olds mess with 30-year-olds in the streets like it's nothing. And so that happens.
I mean,
And
we had the whole
unfortunately,
KRS song,
yeah.
like that
That's,
episode about
and
being
you know what
13
that's
and
about? I
good.
always talk about, me and Liza talk about, they groom girls. They'll get a girl at 14 and 15 to keep her around, wait till she graduate high school. It happened. And especially in the 80s, going into the 90s. That was a big thing. I was working with girls, they were like 17. And I always knew. I said, how old is your boyfriend? Oh, he's 32. It just it's like cheese and bread. I'm
Yeah.
so
So
serious.
those guys were in the
but
theater.
X
They
is-
were like, "Fuck yeah, bro, yeah."
But X is also
Oh yeah,
also
their hands
grooming-
hurt from high fiving.
X is also grooming teenage boys in this movie too.
Yes.
He
Those
is
two
very
guys
much
For a
locked
different
in.
purpose, yes.
So that
For a different purpose.
that's another kind of semi-hood staple in terms of like my young boys. I mean, you
Yeah.
listen to Conway
Young
the Machine.
shooters,
They
every
all
song.
talk. Every shooter is a 14
Young-
and under
young
because
shooters,
they'll
yes.
get
Young
arrested for juvenile and they can get out, which is it's
Right,
all,
right,
it's all
yeah.
nonsense. But you get a young
And it's
boy hoped up on red dust and up his nose, you can get a lot of them to do the things that you want. Like I remember
Some child soldier
Menace,
shit.
Yeah, and I remember in Menace,
City of God.
AWACS. I always thought he
Okay.
was so curious a character because I knew him. People that just kind of egg you on, hey, you gonna let them talk to you like that? You know what I'm saying? But they just want to sit back. They have no intention of getting their hands dirty or anything. They just like to see chaos.
I want to put a pin in the scene that you referenced just now and come back to how much I absolutely hate it. But let's continue on this path. DMX is a piece of shit, and he grooms children the entire movie.
Can I just name another?
But he did
film
read
that
a
we
couple
haven't
books and
discussed?
getting good with the minister. So
Yeah,
Hey, that's
so
at the end.
foul.
We're not to that part yet.
we're not at the
Last.
end just yet. I want to talk about because Zilla, both Zilla and Castro, you guys both just kind of rattled off a bunch of movies that this film is a composite of, and this film is a composite.
Right.
The one that's the most glaring to me, and again, I say this as a Cuban, is Scarface, and there are two scenes specifically that are pure Scarface
Hit me.
ripoffs. One is the montage when they've decided when Lennox decided to let them do
Oh,
business with
good.
him.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
you got to be
They
more
might as-
specific with which
when they-
montage.
When he
Well,
brings
because
when they're
dropping
when they
the cash.
when the Omaha operation is working well and they're bringing briefcase full of money, fakest looking cash ever seen,
And did
over
you-
to Ox's crib. I'm like, they might as well push it to the limit over that. They might as well.
And real quick, on
you're
that
right,
part,
you're dead on. That's so
watching
crazy.
that scene
No
in
question.
2025 on a high def 50-inch TV, the $100 bills looked like Rush Limbaugh with long
He
hair.
really did.
Because that was when they first switched.
That
to
is
big
awesome.
face, dog.
That's
I
I can see
paused it,
Prop
I'm like,
Money
well,
so
that's
much
not
now. Yeah,
George
Prop
Washington,
Money.
that's Rush Limbaugh.
I watched
so
this one
bad.
guy. He pointed out Prop Money now. It's like glaring, like he going over the
God.
Breaking Bad series, and it's I see it like Prop Money is like glare. So in
And-
Sopranos, you see it.
Yeah, oh yeah. The other scene that is straight ripped from Scarface is when Lennox's house gets
Defending his crib. Yep.
Yeah.
he's
Yes.
defending his crib.
Yep.
Suddenly he's like Tony Montana with the pile of coke. He's all fucked up,
Yep.
and yet he still managed to become this.
Well,
like,
remember he's
amazing.
he's kind of jacked up on the weed, and then when
Yeah.
Pass out.
he sees the camera,
He falls off the couch.
That's when he sobers up though. When he looks in the camera and
and he
sees the
reaches
people
over
And
running
you
Across
across
the
see
street.
it because his eyes grow as
goes,
big as
yeah,
fucking
he's like-
UFOs. They're
goes,
like,
and that's when he grabs the
And he
click off under the couch.
drops
But
to the
it
ground
takes
and
that
becomes
moment.
the greatest soldier ever
You want to
known to
rump?
man.
You want to rump with me? I can backspin. and shoot an
Universal Soldier
AK-47.
isn't as good a soldier as
Yup.
this soldier.
Reanimated Van Damme.
Unbelievable
I mean,
performance.
he's-
My favorite
he's
character by
basically, like,
far.
fighting like Ace Ventura. Like the whole thing, like he's just basically lying on his side, like running in place, like fucking a Three Stooges type move.
Spinning
He
in a
says
circle.
Bomba Clot 9 times
Oh,
You
could
wanna
he-
rump?
You can't
in the
Like,
scene.
bro,
But the
alright,
thing
but
is,
wait,
doesn't
wait.
it feel like 150?
It's a lot.
It feels like every
It's a
other
lot.
word he
Bomba
said.
Clot.
It's
Dog,
only
it's too
9. I
much.
counted it. It's
So
only
is
9.
that not a fault of this assassination team because they're just to distract them till Chiquito? Because they turn into like
They
fodder.
sacrificed
They were
30
stormtroopers,
people
bro. They
who
got
were
fucking-
willing
They
to
all-
kill.
nonstop.
And they had the red beams and none of that was
couldn't
something
couldn't hit
else.
anything for shit. Yeah.
They had to get the Wakanda soldiers to fucking come down and take
Or
him out.
Melage, fuck him up.
I cannot believe that I've watched this film at least a dozen times, if not more, in my life. And I cannot believe that in my recent watches, that I had forgotten about the female assassins.
Yes.
I had forgotten entirely about that altogether. And when I see her come down on top of him, and cut his throat, I'm like, that's cinema.
If
That's cinema.
Yeah, no,
if a female assassin
shitting
kills
on
a
this
man in a movie, do they
But
win?
there are awesome scenes like that fucking scene.
That's
where people
awesome.
Yeah,
kills
they
him.
have some moments.
Oh,
Yeah.
there's some
there's
wonderful
great
scenes
shit
in this
here,
movie.
but
We're going to
the-
talk about some good
The
scenes.
conversation. All right, let's just get to one of the main best scenes in this movie. The conversation in Blue when it's the epitome of the movie, the good versus the evil. Can't feed your girl no books. And DMX is on one side. They're doing good. Everything's lovely. And somehow Nas had some epiphany. We don't know when, who, how, why. And he's just spouting it off now. And he's like, yo, you know what I'm saying? When's the last time you read a book? I swear. I must have quoted this thing like 1,000. Never, motherfucker. Like, yo, it's like, amazing. It wasn't just, I haven't read a book.
He says about, he's like, you need to start worrying about your fucking seed.
Yeah.
Because Shorty can't eat books.
Shouts to Billy Woods.
Shorty can't eat books. I lost my mind.
You got to understand the ultimate nature of that answer. He didn't say, since school, I don't fuck with. He said, never. Right. Like, that's the last time I read a book.
Not one time. Because he too was groomed to do this and only this.
Make money.
He also says, I think maybe my favorite line in this movie, other than when T-Boz says, "Africa's far."
That's a wonderful,
which is improv.
What an incredible counteroffer.
It's just a long ass flight.
I want to go to Africa. Africa's far.
The best line is when DMX says in that scene, DMX says, "Fuck a book, man." That's it. I'm like, that was it. It was like my entire existence just got erased when he said "fuck a book." I'm like,
fuck a book.
It's also very dismissive because like Sincere read like a book.
A book.
Like I've been reading. I've been reading
3 of them.
Yeah, I've been reading.
He's got like 4 or 5 books, but he only reads
later.
That one
yeah, we don't know which.
They
just do the pass with the camera, so we don't know which
that holds
books.
It together.
I did. I paused it, and there's a history of the Black Panthers.
Mm-hmm. There it is.
That's the only one that's big enough that you can read it.
I thought it was like some Mao Zedong in it. It looked like with the red and the white book.
It's possible.
My shelf is full of books.
I didn't see that.
It doesn't mean I read all those books.
Mm-hmm.
So just because we see that Nas has some books doesn't mean he read them. The thing about this movie that I think is beautiful is you can watch the money run out. And you can see over the course of this film.
I talked with that to Z this morning. I said you can see literally where the opulence kind of
the lights go out.
And they just got the first 10 minutes. It's a wrap.
Yeah. It's like they spent all this money and the problem is they filmed a lot of this. They filmed a lot of this in chronological order, and that's part of the problem. So it starts out with that beautiful scene, that second scene at the tunnel, which I'm sure we'll talk about at some stage. But like it gets to that point where it's like the reason why you were like, when did he tell him he was out? That was one of the probably many pages that they ripped out of that script on the fly because they did not have the budget to film the rest of this movie. It's why when this film finishes with this voiceover of Sincere Nas talking about Africa, it's showing Times Square 1998, not 99 because that hadn't happened yet. 1998 because they could not film in Africa as they had originally planned.
They spent a lot of money. Gary brought this up to me while we were like kind of texting back and forth while watching. Filming in Jamaica took a second crew.
Second
and that's it.
Unit
that's
directors.
All of a sudden you're done. Your budget gone.
Yeah, you double everything
because everything you needed in America, you need a Jamaican version, and they know you're coming from out of town, and people are going to charge a lot of money to travel and do things. That's just how it goes.
Right. Yeah.
So after that, after Jamaica, you can kind of watch scenes and be
great.
like,
do you see
a lot of this ends up being outdoors? Lots more walking to places.
Yeah.
Instead of
like
being
they don't meet in the
location.
house anymore.
Yeah.
No, there's only 2 more scenes in the house, and they're both dark as fuck.
Yeah.
No, when they
both in
walk
timber
down,
and in sight.
The scenes when they walk down Linden to use the payphone,
yes,
that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's like that reminds me.
Yes.
That reminds me of stuff from my childhood. I'm like, that's how shit used to look. I loved
the
that.
barbershop shootout. Same thing.
The barbershop shootout.
Looks and crepes. Like that's kind of what I think. Like if I was in the middle of a gunfight, it would be quick, and it would be like done. And then whoever's going to help is helping, and whoever ain't is gone.
I guarantee those were guerrilla shots. And that was probably at a point where Hype was like, okay, we can just shoot and get the hell out of here. But that wasn't the plan. Remember, Hype is a professional, like they're in the mix, they're in those meetings, they're at MCA, they're talking to record labels and stuff. So he's not thinking of cutting any corners when he first started this thing. Everything was going to be, you know, tip top shape. But when they ran out of money, it was like, yo, man, who owns a barbershop? All right, we're going to shoot over there. You know what I mean?
So speaking of the money, though,
yes,
the budget for this movie in 1998 was $3 million.
Ridiculous.
Which now is equivalent of nearly $6 million.
Still, that's nothing.
I've seen a range from 3
here's
to
my
7.
point.
I've seen a range
Terrifier 3 was made for $250,000 and it looks better than this movie does.
No way.
Terrifier 3 was made for $2 million and it looks better.
It does not
well,
look better.
let me
go. Have you seen it? It looks way better.
It does not. It's just
it does too. This movie looks like shit.
This movie
let me ask you a question.
The thing is,
let me
how
ask you a
good this
question
movie
though.
looks.
Was Terrifier a union shoot? Was Terrifier 3 a
I don't
union
think
shoot?
so. No, yeah.
No, not that budget.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that ruined Hype Williams. Hype Williams was used to doing music videos over a weekend, non-union jobs.
Lots of guerrilla shots.
Make
get
you
in,
people
get
fucking
out.
stay until you get the shit done. This
So what
you
we're
can't
saying
do that
is-
on a feature film. Union.
Right.
This was a union job. And that meant
people
you should
left
break
at
the
five.
Unions because they
Unions
ruined this
ruined
movie.
beautiful
Is that what
scene.
we're saying?
at like 5 o'clock.
No, I'm
they were
just
like, we're
saying-
out of here. No, yeah, but
I'm
that
just
was
saying-
No, we're saying
You can't-
Terrifier 3 are dicks.
I'm just saying.
Terrifier 3 was
We're
just a
not
dude
using
in his-
union dudes.
You can't operate in the Hype Williams fashion as he did for music videos the same way for a movie. And that's why the
Yes,
first thing they
it was
shot
his
was the
first
tunnel
one.
scene,
He-
and they spent $2
it
million
seems
on the
like-
fucking tunnel scene.
It seems like the miscalculation is visible. That's the only problem.
Good call.
Is that there just wasn't a plan B. It's like, oh shit, we're out of money. Well, we're shooting it now. Let's go. Everybody
even
places
to the
everybody.
point of like,
It
these
doesn't
are the
matter if
shots
it's
we
too
have
dark
to
or
get.
whatever. We're just not getting
Right,
lights.
like-
we're doing this.
Like you always hear directors talk about like these were the shots we knew we had to get to make this movie great.
Yeah.
They didn't
That's a
think
tough
that
thing.
way.
That's a tough thing. That's a tough way to think. That's why those
It is,
dudes
but
are so
I think
good
it's the
at
way
stuff.
great directors think.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I just mean like
Yeah. And I think it's
How many
also the
greats
reason
are
Hype
there?
Williams
You
never
know what
made
I mean?
another movie.
he almost did a couple of
Speed
times.
Racer. Yeah, he almost did
Almost,
Speed Racer.
but
He almost
he had a
did Speed
TV
Racer.
show too.
Oh, I
He did
didn't
a
know
TV
that.
show?
Yeah, he had like an 11 episode TV show.
Oh,
What
shit.
show was that?
Yeah, what is that?
Hold on, let me look at it's nothing you ever heard of.
I might have seen it on the Humbug. Like it might have came out on like.
Did it? While we're waiting on that information, anybody
No,
watch Belly
you-
2?
No way.
With the
No, I
game.
was tempted to.
Can't. No,
No,
I never
no,
saw it.
Alaska. Don't. You can't. It's literally like.
No, I've heard from people like
No,
don't do
it's
that.
literally like scraping your eyeballs. You can't. It's not. You cannot watch it. Like that's like. I'm not even hating on it. It's almost unbearable to watch.
Can we
Okay,
talk about
so
that?
I don't
sounds like a
can we
Cabbages
talk about
movie, though.
Can we talk about the Speed Racer thing for a sec?
Oh, hit me.
Because Hype Williams, a few things with Hype Williams. I did a little research as I do on this stuff, like to see kind of what was supposed to happen next.
Right.
He was supposed to do a sci-fi movie, first of all, called Mothership in the late 90s, which died in development hell. It was about a multinational space vessel that gets marooned on its way to an unknown destination. Then he was slated to do Speed Racer, announced in 2001.
Yep.
The script for that was co-written by the guy who does those Den of Thieves movies.
Oh, that'd be fun.
So,
then how
that
did
might have
M.
been a
Night get
better
his hand
Speed
on it?
Racer. Might have that ended up with the Wachowskis at the end.
With House
what's
Speed
with
Racer.
the
By the way, the Den of Thieves movies, 2 thumbs up.
I
Are
haven't
they
seen
good?
either
I've
one.
been
Are
tempted
they
to
good?
watch it. So they
They're
just dropped the
The
second.
second
fucking
one looked like it's
sick.
really good.
They're so much fun.
Wait,
It's-
is Ice Cube's son in both, or is just
Yes.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh,
And O'Shea is awesome.
That's
well, he's
awesome.
good. He's good.
Thumbs up. I don't know.
After-
I haven't
yeah.
been following O'Shea, but I need to go back and watch some more because
He's
he's
selective.
awesome in these.
O'Shea is selective. He's very selective.
So
In addition
the
to
thing
Speed
that,
Racer, in addition to Speed Racer,
sorry, go ahead.
Hype was supposed to do a zombie movie called Thriller. He was supposed to do
I
a
remember
Crow
that.
movie with DMX as the Crow,
I remember
Right.
that. Yep. The Crow.
I
and he
don't
was
know
supposed to
about
do a remake.
I'm into
of
that.
Superfly,
I'm into
a
that idea,
Superfly-
by the way.
I
He was
remember
going to do the
Superfly.
Superfly remake. He was going to do the Superfly
That movie
remake.
was whack.
You give him a
And-
second film with the star, the guy that was the best in that movie,
Yep.
I think, other than Ox. You get those two together, you do Crow. I think
Yeah.
you tell a good story. I think he could pull it off. I think there's a lot of good things in this film. I had fun catching up with it. It's been a
love this movie.
long time.
I'm gonna be honest. I mean, I like poking fun, and that's what we do on the show. And like, gotta go into this stuff. But I have a love for this film that is real. So
Yeah.
in spite of its flaws, like I really do like. Let's talk about the tunnel scene. The scene in the tunnel,
yes.
the opening
Yes.
scene
Oh,
is
Yes,
amazing.
please.
Yes.
And it's like if you
They blew
knew
so much money on that scene.
worth
that's
it.
a $2 million scene.
$2 million.
It's worth it. Fucking
The
worth
budget
every
was
penny.
3.
Well,
Worth
the
every penny.
homage to Godfather, the
Yeah.
Soul to Soul song a cappella, which the song's not even like
so
that.
good.
It's not even like that for real. It's like
Yo,
people be
listen.
like, where's that version? That is not the version.
You have to watch
It
this to
is-
get that version.
Yep.
Right.
It is a perfect music choice.
Yes.
Perfect. Use, length, everything about that scene was magical.
The same way, like at the end, they do Devil's Pie a cappella.
Yeah.
Like,
One of the greatest songs ever already.
Oh, it's
And
the
then they
best
used
D'Angelo
it
song ever.
correctly.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it's. I think the tunnel scene is fucking
D'Angelo
phenomenal.
forever.
I think like the way I think what this movie could have done to get even better was, and I get why they had to do it, as you're saying, for budgetary constraints, like all the narration, right? They spend so much time like telling you and telling you and telling you when I can see that Tommy is a fucking maniac. I don't need to be told by Nas,
Yeah.
you know, Tommy was wilding, he was doing all this shit. And it's like, okay. And then Castro and I said, well, then Sincere.
More Nas impersonations, please. Whenever you're ready.
I'm saying we should go to Africa. He's like, remember, he's like, we've been talking about it. She's like, no, the fuck we haven't. Remember, he's like, we've been talking about it a long time. She's like, what?
Africa's far.
It's far.
It's far.
But then it's like, okay, the ending.
But you'll think about it.
Well, and then also, like I've been saying on Twitter for years, could someone just edit the movie and cut Nas out as only a supporting character? It's Tommy's movie because Tommy
100%.
changes. Nas just says this. He's a one-note character. I want to go to fucking Africa. Why?
How
I
much
don't know.
cooler would this have been if he walks into that Heat-like meeting between he and Tommy at the
Up
end?
in Harlem, yeah.
Up in Harlem.
Yeah.
Harlem, yep, with the suit on.
They're meeting, and we haven't seen Sincere for a while.
Yes.
And he comes in and he says, "My family and I are moving to Africa." Excellent.
Correct.
That is awesome. That's exactly where you need to go because you're fucking it up here in America.
Right.
Get the fuck
Or-
out of here and go do your thing.
Right.
I
Or
love
he
it.
decides to do that.
But instead,
after
we got
Tommy
dragged about
Right.
Africa for
Right.
like 45 minutes.
So who gives a fuck? Or he decides to change his life after he sees Tommy change his.
Yeah.
He's like, if the
But
most lonesome
did he
guy I
ever
know
make it to
changes-
Africa?
Yeah, they do
Yes.
a voiceover at
Right.
the
They
end.
The
do-
voiceover,
Voiceover,
yeah,
yeah,
they couldn't film in
they
Africa.
couldn't get, they couldn't get
But he's like,
no.
you're watching Times Square. He's like, by the
I mean,
way,
they
we're
could
in
have gone to
Africa.
like Far Rockaway and just been like, "Oh, we're in Africa."
Or just
I mean,
go to
that's
like
like
San
what
Diego.
movies do. Movie magic.
Yeah,
Just go to San Diego. Like, why the fuck?
They
is it
could
Africa?
have posted the camera at the sky.
Just
Yes.
go to the
Sky.
zoo and get a gorilla shot of an African
and
animal.
even the whole thing of
Boom.
with
Problem
Black
solved.
making him into Benny Blanco.
Yeah.
Nas didn't even do anything to you. What are you
No.
doing? You waited.
Nas was shit. All
years
Nas
or
did was
1
shit
year
talk in that moment. He just did
and,
some shit talk.
and
He didn't do it.
popped up on him, and you brought your mans with you. You waited a whole year with no plan. You shoot yourself in the foot. You get killed on the Ave. This was what you were building up to. This is what you were shadow boxing in your basement, practicing. They're never gonna make me naked again. This is what you built your whole life up to.
there was a lot
I
of
just-
dudes in this movie, and he was
Nobody
one of
has a
them.
good plan in this film. Not one
They
person
have.
has a
There's a
good
lot
plan.
of dudes that had bald heads in that movie that shouldn't have bald heads
Indeed.
because it looks like they got a helmet on.
Well, Frank Vincent.
And like he was one of those
Yeah.
dudes.
Yeah. And then Alaska, what is so I like the way the One Love homage scene is filmed with the blue and he's wearing the Averex jacket. Like
That was
to
dope.
this day I want an Averex jacket.
I had
instead of
seen that
Castro. They're like
scene years
700,
But
right?
it was-
$700.
But it was so
But-
worthless a scene. It doesn't
But-
mean anything.
It was.
Right.
Yeah.
He's hanging out with a 12-year-old doing drugs, and the
Yep.
kid has a fucking gun. He's
Are
like,
we sure that kid's 12?
yeah, he said
Yeah.
he's 12.
Yeah,
and he's
he
like,
says he's
because he
12.
walks up, he's
I'm
like,
so-
oh, he's like,
so
he's
glad
12.
you
He's-
guys
he's a
brought
real
up this
piece of
scene.
shit. He says he's like, he's a real piece of shit. He's fucking crazy. And he says, he's like, you know, mind elevation. Fuck that petty shit. You know what I mean? Don't
He's
let them deter
smoking
you.
a fucking blunt
You're
with
doing
a
drugs with a
child,
12-year-old.
and then it's like,
And y'all missed the
elevation,
innuendo.
mind elevation, dog.
The kid got arrested yesterday for shooting somebody on the roof.
And then Nas
By
is
the
like, "Here's
way,
my chain.
they're
Let's
just
smoke
letting
weed."
this kid back out. He's a murderer.
Yep, he's a juvenile. And he's back
I'm
on the
assuming
block
that-
serving a fiend.
I'm gonna run
So,
with the wild theory
at
that
dawn-
that kid is dead.
He's
The kid's
definitely
dead.
I don't
dead.
think he was real.
This is
But
a Sixth Sense.
he
This
did-
is a Sixth Sense.
He did
He
get to
spoke
smoke
to
a blunt
ghosts.
with Nas
He said,
He
I
spoke
like
to
your
ghosts
at
style.
12 years
with
old.
Nas. Yeah.
At 5 in the morning.
5 in the morning, be like, I like your style. You're real fly. Nas is like, word. They talk the same. He's like, yeah, I got a body. Nas is like, oh, that's ill. But yo, elevate your mind. Fuck that petty shit. I was like, you just did drugs with a 12-year-old after Tommy's getting top from a 16-year-old. Both you guys are fucking human
Terrible
garbage.
people.
You're disgusting people.
Oh, you're
But,
awful.
but because you want to go to Africa, I'm supposed to sympathize. You get the fuck out of here, bro. You're a terrible dad. You're fucking trash, dude.
It's still not the worst. That's still not the worst scene in the movie. The worst scene in the movie, and maybe the longest
Do it.
5 minutes of my entire life,
Do it.
is when Reverend Savior, the minister,
Oh my god.
monologues at DMX, but at all of us, really. Straight. Just speaks at us. Like
He's-
everything that was in fucking Nas's book that radicalized him is now being spoken at
He
all
drops
of
a
us.
stat at the beginning of his like elong speech. He drops a stat where he's like, half of our children are in the streets selling drugs.
How do you know that?
Half of the what
Citation,
calculations are you
citation.
getting? I citation needed. What the fuck are you talking about?
So
50% of
character-
children sell drugs?
So that character also is probably why a lot of the funding got pulled, because at one point it was going to be Minister Farrakhan in that role. The nation thought against it, and they probably, like, to be honest, back then they would have said, yeah, we'll do it, and then thought against it. They would do things of that nature, not like pull out, just be like, no, this is not a good look for.
And he probably wouldn't have come in hot with the worst stat of all time.
No,
He
and
probably
so-
would have taken it
but-
seriously and like
so
spoken.
with that being in there,
Yeah.
you know, the highest, the powers that be, Magic Johnson, like, remember this, you know, this Magic Johnson, he's, you know, this lobbyist, this people he talks to, congressmen, and Esquire at the end of their names, and he does what they say. And that's just unfortunate. You know what I'm saying?
And it's like, and Hype Williams did go and speak with the minister. He spoke with Farrakhan. And what I've learned from, there was a great, if you guys haven't seen it and looking up ahead of this, I highly recommend. King Magazine did an oral history of this that is amazing.
2008.
And in that oral history, I saw that Hype Williams did go apparently to meet with the minister, and Farrakhan basically told him under no circumstance was Buns allowed to kill the minister in this movie.
Correct.
That was not at all allowed. So as you speak to kind of them maybe, you know, bailing out at some point, there were probably stipulations that were going to put in place in the beginning that already constricted where the storyline could go. I think also part of the thing with this is my understanding is that at least maybe one of the earlier versions of this script, like this arc of radicalization and moving away from the criminal lifestyle between both of these characters, with Nas and with DMX, is supposed to happen a lot sooner. This is supposed to be a much more natural flow.
Right.
Of course. Yeah.
But it's supposed
Because
to
I
flow
mean, they're
through.
trying to make the crime part of this thing so glamorous that they're like, oh, let's tuck in the redemption. Let's sweep that in the rug at the end here.
The minister was played by like Dr. Ben Chavez.
Chavez, yeah.
actually.
NAACP.
who was like
Yep.
yeah, and the Urban League, like
Yeah.
the CEO of the Urban League. Yeah.
I was going to say the worst 5 minutes was Terrell Hicks and Tion just walking, bitching about their boyfriends. Oh, that was
I mean, let's talk
terrible.
about Terrell Hicks.
She's horrible,
Okay.
and I love her. I've been
She's
in love with her for 30
horrendous
years.
in this movie.
All she does is sit around and then fucking get bitchy. And then there's one scene where she's watching her own music video. Did you see that?
Yes,
I didn't
yes,
know
you did.
what the fuck she was
Yes.
But she's also like
What
one
they're
of
watching
the
in
only,
this
like,
thing when the
actors in
TVs
this
are on,
movie.
it's weird.
She
And
is.
she's not good.
No, you know what I realized?
But I
Last, 'cause
think maybe there
she got
wasn't
overexposed. She was great in Bronx Tale because she has
There's
about
nothing here
15
for her to
lines.
chew on. There's no lines,
Right.
obviously. There's nothing.
And, like, if
even when
you-
she calls Tommy, he's in the car. She's just kind of talking,
Bitching
and it's just
at
like this. Like, yo, just talk. Like, say you're worried.
I mean,
about it.
also, who are her, like, no offense, but like she's a pro, and who are your scene actor? Like, who's your scene with? Who's your scene?
And
with?
yeah, she was doing scenes
Yeah.
by
Scene partners
herself.
are people that have never done this before, so
She's
she's
by
just
herself
like,
on the
terrible.
phone.
I'm gonna
She was
cruise,
by
grab
herself
my
on the
check,
phone.
and I'm about.
Yeah.
No big
She
deal.
was by herself when Method Man came in to get her. She was by herself, like,
Right.
in
She's
like
always
there was
just
a lot
sitting
of
around. She's just sitting on the couch.
set the camera on her and let her do her thing because she is the professional. But we're not to just when we're not giving her anything to do. Like there's nothing to do except improv. Because I do parallel like improv. When I found out like how much
And I can't fuck with adult braces either, bro. So like
she
that's
had the 98 Invisalign on.
I mean, like women don't get to do shit in this film.
But when they do, it's just so boring. And then they're just always like nagging. They're just portrayed as naggers. And
it's like a Tim Allen show.
Oh, wow.
Straight up.
Oh wow! I just saw something
look, he was running coke, so you know.
I saw something that was with the Jill character was like, I keep hearing people talking about this reboot. How? She said such and such is a felon. Kieran one of them is a felon. Kieran don't even act anymore. The youngest one, he stopped acting. Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought we were talking about.
And it's like, but she was just making it out like he goes on these runs of talking so well, and then the other guy's dead. But not really including them in the in this reboot imagination. And now he has a new show. I don't know if you know. I just watched something on that. He has
a new show with Kat Dennings. The new show with Kat Dennings, right? Yeah.
Man, is it called Failure?
No, something about
I don't think that one's gonna work, folks.
She moves back in with him or something like that.
That's a CBS show.
I was watching Jeopardy once, and it came on right after Jeopardy, and I watched it out of morbid curiosity.
So it's already on, on and running.
It's on now.
Oh, is it? Oh, wow. Whoops.
It's terrible, dude.
Can I ask a question?
It's shifting gears.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
But do you know who's in it? And Daryl Mitchell.
What? From fucking Will Smith's best friend on what's his name? Didn't he play his man on Fresh Prince?
Who's Daryl Mitchell?
His man. He played his man from Philly, right?
He's been in a ton of shit.
Comedian.
He was in House Party 2, Boomerang.
Yeah, he played Chill. Yeah. He was fucking Will Smith's boy from Philly on Fresh Prince.
Oh, Daryl. Oh, Chill. Yes, I know. Yes. As soon as you said Chill, I know exactly.
Chill.
Yeah. Daryl Chill Mitchell. Yes. Dude's in a wheelchair, bro.
Yes, he's been killing it. He was in that. Awesome. He was in that Tim Allen movie about the aliens and stuff. He had him sit down half the time. He was.
I guess he got in a car accident or some shit.
Oh yeah, back in the day. So after House Party, after House Party, he was became a paraplegic. He's been acting that way ever since.
Was he in the scene when Will goes into the?
Because remember, him and his partner used to do dance moves.
Yeah, right.
They would dance.
They would have the hat.
That's the iron. But he's kept it cracking ever since around then. That's when he lost the use of his legs, and they just put him in stuff. They put him at desks.
Just to chill.
You know what my least favorite scene in Belly is?
What?
It's when they go to the restaurant and a kid shoots a kid.
That's
over an argument. Over an argument between who is more of a pussy, I guess is basically.
And then DMX drinks his grapefruit vodka with a napkin, just sitting there.
Yeah, and he just kind of ad libs them into killing one another.
Because he threatens the one
like that.
He says one, and the one pulls the gun out.
Yeah,
but it's actually that's Lockheed. Wise is the one that shoots him and walks off.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So the domino, and Wise did look at DMX, and if you pause it,
we had to suffer through the hell of that scene.
So bad.
We had to suffer through the hell of that scene to get one of the other best shots in the movie, where DMX just lights a blunt and gets arrested.
Yep,
he's just sitting there, just whatever. Just Wednesday.
He just is like
Tommy Buns.
Fuck it. Look, I'm just going to smoke a blunt right now.
This is a 420 friendly podcast. And as you assuredly know, and there's I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up this one thing that I read in the King oral history of this movie do you remember that scene? It's a great scene where DMX first goes to visit Louis Rankin at the house. And there's this big bowl of weed on the table.
Yes.
Really large bowl of it.
Yes.
It's a large bowl.
According to Louis Rankin, DMX stole the bowl of weed from the
set.
It was Louis Rankin's weed, and DMX took it.
Sure. There was not enough in the budget to buy weed.
And rest in peace, Louis Rankin died in 2019 in a car accident.
Rest in peace.
And we're gonna
talk about, we're definitely going to talk about Louis Rankin. We talk about the soundtrack aspect of this in a sec. I definitely want to do that. But I have a question related to that. What do you think?
I'm not wearing a suit for the soundtrack. The soundtrack doesn't.
That's fine.
Fair enough.
What do you think the wig budget for this movie was?
Wig budget? Wig budget?
What's the wig budget in this movie?
$14.
More than the weed budget because they had to steal from Louis Rankin.
Yeah.
Because there's one wig. There's one great wig, and that's when
DMX.
When DMX is in Jamaica.
The Mekhi Phifer 8 Mile wig.
Right, yeah.
Oh, that's a horrible wig.
That was a mop. That was literally a mop.
But there was a lot. The hairstyles in Omaha were highly done. The men had the Shirley Temple curls.
Yeah.
And that's probably one girl that did all of those. But those, that was immaculate.
There's budget for her. There's a budget for her.
Yeah.
Nas's waves were spinning. He looked fucking incredible. Tion had like the McCartney mullet at one point, like the 70s wings.
She had and then that went away. She had the John and Kate +8 haircut.
Let me speak to your manager haircut.
And then they worked it into the script by getting Tower Hicks arrested. Then they changed her hair.
Yeah.
At first she was just rocking a joint, sitting up at night, holding her head up. Yeah.
And then the guy with the feathers in his head. What was that?
Yeah, that was crazy.
Sosa. That was crazy because that was a great shot too. When they panned back when he was dead, that blood on his chest.
Yeah,
the scene in the club was real dope too. When they're in the club out in Jamaica.
Yeah.
Even when they're outside, the girls twerking on them underneath the outdoor lights.
That's a great shot. That was a great shot.
Yeah. She got that like shimmery outfit on too.
Shoo. Yeah, that's shit.
Yeah, that's definitely not their lights. That's definitely not their lights. That's the lights that they were had at their disposal. Like, we'll shoot over here. There's some light because a lot of that part of that scene in at that party in Kingston is like just way too dark.
Oh, and when the kids ran up on the car with the gun, that was real.
Oh yeah, that was real. But also, it's daytime. It's daytime too. Like it's like you're getting actual stuff in there.
Yeah. So that was.
I have one final question about this film because we could talk about this for the next 3 hours, but we've got to record a whole other episode about the soundtrack. Why is this movie called Belly?
Is it bad that I got so high in this one? Oh God, I'm going to be a disaster.
Why is it called Belly?
Why is this movie called Belly?
Why is this movie called Belly?
Yeah.
Why is this movie called Belly?
Belly the Beast.
I mean,
that was a term.
It
was also an attempt.
Is that what it is?
Yes, it was an attempt to make this into a newer slang, this belly part. But everybody says the beast, and I think it's because they're kind of like in hell. You can look at the colors.
But then in the soundtrack and the booklet in the CD, it says "America eats its young" when you open up the booklet, and it's like a homage.
So
to like
Furious Styles was doing the liner notes for Boys in the Hood.
They got him with the stress balls.
Yeah, well, Gary, they talked about it in the King
I want to
mag.
go so bad after watching it.
My dad had some, and I said, do you have to pull out these? He didn't know what I was talking about.
Around.
I asked him, do you pull out those?
Belly of the Beast makes some sense at the beginning of the film during the DMX rap portion, right at the beginning.
Yeah, the spoken word.
The poem.
Yeah, the spoken, the poem. He mentions right away that he sells his soul to the devil and it didn't cost much.
Yeah.
Right.
And then Ox is obviously the devil, which was incredible.
Right. And he's drawing the pentagram and it's his voiceover. Hence, it should be the DMX movie. It can't be.
All of this is correct.
Voiceover.
Yeah, it can't. Well,
it can't be.
But they were trying to make Nas the angel on the shoulder, if you will, but the hood angel, because he still smokes weed with youngsters and stuff.
And murders people. And
no, he murders who? He does nothing. He's a horrible criminal.
Did he at the very beginning?
I don't know because
he's at least an accessory to murder.
No, wait. DMX said, "I shot that bitch." So DMX is taking credit for that girl going through the glass. Now, I don't know.
They shot the bouncer on the step. They shot the other guy.
You're right. So I'm not saying he's not a murderer. I'm just saying.
No, I think the belly thing. I remember, and Gary, they said in the King mag about how Gwen Stefani was supposed to first be in this movie.
Yes, yeah.
And I remember that was the thing about they're gonna get Hype Williams with Gwen Stefani and Nas and DMX in a movie called Belly, and I was like, what in the fuck could that ever be about? And then when you read in the King mag where they cut her out and then her character was supposed to get beheaded.
Yep.
Well, okay. So they just got rid of that and she got cold feet. So I just, none of it, I think that was not a good selling point, calling it Belly. You know, like we were talking about the issues with the distro with Magic Johnson and like the budget issues. But just calling it Belly, it's like, it's the same way Alaska on Patriot. That show that is the greatest fucking show in the history of Prime. Yeah. Calling it Patriot makes it like some red state MAGA shit. But it's like the best dark comedy ever made for television.
To declare some type of slang like brick or kids, and so if the movie catches, then that becomes the slang du jour of that year per se, and everybody puts it in their rhymes. You would have heard it more being said in hip hop. I'm serious, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, Vortal put it in his rhymes.
They were all ready to They were already a little old for like coining slang. Coining slang comes from children. That's just what happens.
Jeff, you're missing what I'm talking about here. You're off base here. Check it. When
Okay.
something is trying to be declared as a street slang, there's a rollout sometimes of words. Outie, out, I'm out, I'm one love. When people started saying one, that comes from one love, which comes from 100 and all these other things.
Yes.
So I think if Belly would have caught, then Belly would have been like a term.
What would it have been slang
I don't know.
for? That's what I'm wondering.
No, that's what I'm saying is that it usually comes from the very young.
It's probably
always
so much more
young.
organic than a
and I feel like they were too old to be
like,
trying to like push slang on people. No one's going to do it because the 15-year-olds are already past whatever is happening, and they're the ones that are telling us how to talk.
Yeah. My feeling is that script. My feeling is that the script probably has that meaning and has the usage and context of it that they
like
want
of the beast and parentheses.
Yeah, so you're saying they had a line like in like there's like any action movie they have like the line where they say the name of the film in the movie.
Yeah.
That's what was supposed to happen. I'm sure of it. That's my only explanation for it.
They were gonna do action figures for this thing, y'all. They were gonna have little Nas and DMX little action figures.
I don't know about that.
Dog is dog for life on the motorcycles.
I need the Rico action figure badly.
Yeah, which one of us is going to buy which one, and then we'll get out of here.
We got to put them together.
You got to catch them all.
Everyone would just have them all.
Would they all?
Ikey love.
Would they all come together as one big fish lens, like Transformers?
I want the McDonald's.
I'd have an ox.
Glasses.
If there was an ox, I'd have an ox.
Almost definitely. I want a Chiquita. I would have me a Chiquita, the full uniformed one, the killer at the end, not just the walking.
Oh yeah.
And maybe she comes with the accessories. Maybe I get to put the assassin.
I just want all the Averex jackets. I will wear those in my son.
The white Averex
I will walk
jackets
into the bus stop every day in the yellow Averex, and I don't care what anybody in the suburbs thinks. I will wear that or the white one that Nas had on it. Those jackets are fucking immortal. So shouts. They killed it with the. I'll say this: all the costumes are great. Style's
nice.
That was off the chain. You know what I'm saying? Like
even like the V-necks, like
and they didn't go super low down. There was not a lot of polo in the show. There was not a lot of polo in the show.
No, there's not. You're right. Not a lot of polo at all.
No, the costume designer was trying to put on people. That was the whole thing. Trying to put on these brands. That was intentional. That's why you don't see a lot of things that like you didn't see any Hilfiger. You didn't see stuff that had been around a lot in the 90s.
Yeah. Do we know if the actors were in like they liked it?
I mean, Nas was rocking
or not. I don't know if they did or not.
I remember
Nas did not.
DMX used to wear the Averex jacket when performances and videos.
So. Oh wait, don't forget DMX did have the flowy flower shirt when he came back from Jamaica. And that was like a nod to Tony from Scarface.
Good call.
He didn't wear that at all. He didn't wear anything like that at all. Except like when he came back.
Nothing gentle was on him.
It's the Cabbages Podcast Network.